Hey everyone, Dan with Mac Rumors, and in this video we're going to go over some useful 3D touch features for your iPhone. Our first 3D touch feature is one that you may or may not already know, but it's extremely useful. Say you're typing out a really long message and you want to go back to a specific letter or word in the beginning of the text. Instead of trying to tap the exact location between two letters, you can actually 3D touch on the keyboard and move the cursor around to anywhere in the text. To take things even one step further, after you 3D touch the keyboard, if you let up slightly on the screen and then 3D touch again, you can actually use that cursor to select lines of text easily. It's a really useful trick that can save you a ton of time. When 3D touch was first implemented in the iPhone, it was something I always forgot about and I never really used it. 3D touch in iOS 11, however, is actually a lot more useful than when it was first released, and a good rule of thumb is to basically 3D touch any app or button to see if there's a shortcut feature that might be useful to you. The Control Center has plenty of useful 3D touch features. Some of my favorite include the 4 levels of brightness control via the flashlight toggle, quickly setting a timer anywhere from 1 minute to 2 hours, getting into specific camera modes quickly, and if you 3D touch the brightness slider, you can quickly toggle night shift and or true tone display on or off. As I mentioned earlier, the same thing can be said for most system apps and even third-party applications. Some of my favorite shortcuts that I use on a daily basis include the phone app's quick widget access to some of my favorite people to call or text. The Messages app will bring up 3 latest text conversations or the ability to quickly compose a new message. Quick access to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth via the Settings app. And my inboxes for different email accounts in Newton. If you use Apple Mail, you can actually use the VIPs widget with a 3D touch. Also, inside of apps themselves, you can actually use 3D touch for certain features like sharing your location inside of Apple's Maps, and previewing images, stories, songs, etc. inside of apps like Safari, News, and Apple Music. In fact, that brings us to our next 3D touch tip. Let's say you're inside of an app like Safari and you see an image on a website that you want to save to your phone. Before this trick, I would actually try to long press on the image and press save, which is actually how this task was carried out before 3D touch was implemented into devices. It's a little more difficult than that since 3D touch will naturally try to take over. So if you 3D touch an image and bring up the preview, you can actually swipe up to bring up more options like save or copy. This will also work across a lot of apps with images, links, etc. You can do this in, let's say, the News app with an article, and from here you can like the article, dislike, save, share, or block the channel. As I mentioned earlier, this works well with apps like Safari, News, and more. Finally, our last tip has to do with prioritizing application downloads. If you're downloading a few new apps or games and you really want to just play one now while the others take a little bit to download, you can actually select which ones you want to prioritize by 3D touching the icons while they are downloading and select Prioritize Download. This will prioritize that application ahead of the others and finish that download faster. Let us know if you have any other useful 3D touch features that we may not have mentioned in the comments section down below. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.